As you enter the multi-million-dollar Capitol Visitor Center, you will walk into Emancipation Hall. In Emancipation Hall, you will see various statues from states from around the country. The tallest statue in Emancipation Hall is a statue called Freedom, which is just like the one that's on top of the Capitol Dome. And while you're in Emancipation Hall, you will notice various lines. There'll be lines for people who've ordered their tickets on www.aoc.gov. People have ordered tickets for groups of 10 or less, 10 or more. Each ticket is a time ticket, so you know exactly what time your tour will start. And you go to the north or south end to get your tickets. Once you get your tickets, they will tell you which line to get in to take your tour. At the beginning of the tour, you will see a 17-minute video. Once the video is over, you will be taken to the rotunda, where you'll be able to see a true fresco done by Constantino Brumidi in 1865. George Washington appears to be raising to the heavens. He's surrounded by 13 maidens representing the 13 original colonies. There are 6 groups of figures circling George Washington. They represent war, science, marine, commerce, and mechanics. This was done by Constantino Brumidi on the Mississippi River in May 8th, 1547. This was done by William Henry Powell, and 1 year later, DeSoto died. This painting by John Vanderlyn was placed in the Capitol in 1847. It shows Christopher Columbus and his crew landing on the beach of the West Indies. He was on his way to find a way to get to India. Painting by Robert Ware, placed in the Capitol in 1843, depicts the pilgrims on the deck of the ship Speedwell before leaving to join the Mayflower in England. This is the baptizing of Pocahontas. This took place in 1613 or 1614. She was baptized with the English name of Rebecca. George Washington resigned his commission December 23rd, 1783. General Washington served his country with great honor. He later on became the President of the United States. President Washington actually loved being a farmer more than he wanted to be anything else. Just a good family farmer. This painting depicts American General Benjamin Lincoln accepting the surrender of the British forces in Yorktown, Virginia. This painting, which was done in 1826, shows the British general surrendering to the American forces in Saratoga, New York, on October 17th, 1877. This is a painting done by John Trumbull in 1826. And what it depicts is the Declaration of Independence being presented to the Second Continental Congress, June 28, 1776. This is a frieze which was done by Constantino Brumidi. It's 19 different scenes. It starts with American history and ends with the birth of aviation in 1903. Also includes the burial of DeSoto, William Penn and the Indians, the colonization of New England, the Declaration of Independence, surrender of Cornwallis, discovery of gold in California, peace at the end of the Civil War. The next room you will be taken into is called Statuary Hall. Throughout the Capitol, each state is allowed to have 2 statues representing someone from their state has done something great for the state or America. We have statues of As you walk around Statuary Hall, keep in mind this was a place that the men of the House of Representatives would meet. The floor did not look the same. The floor was basically like an orchestra pit that went down, and each congressman had his desk, his own desk, because the country was just that small at the time. And as you look around Statuary Hall, you will see statues of Sam Houston, Huey Long, Dr. Martin Luther King, Ronald Reagan, Dwight Eisenhower, many famous men and women who played a very important role in our country's history. This is the car of history. This was presented in 1819. This is Clio, use of history, riding a winged chariot, presented in 1819. This statue is called Liberty, who holds a scroll representing the Constitution over the bald eagle, and the bald eagle represents America. One of the newer statues, Dwight David Eisenhower and Ronald Wilson Reagan, the President of the United States of America. Statue of our first president, George Washington. Statue of three women who were instrumental in getting women's rights in America, Dr. Martin Luther King. In Statuary Hall, you have plaques of President Andrew Johnson, James K. Polk, and James Buchanan, all men, congressmen, later on became president of the United States. This is called Progress of Civilization. Central figure is America. On the right side of America is the early days of America, and on the left-hand side is the diversity of human endeavor. You're now looking at a statue called Freedom. 287 feet high, weighs over 14,000 pounds. It's 19 and a half feet tall. At the base is the saying E pluribus unum, from many, one. This is the House of Representatives. This wing of the Capitol was put on in 1857. During the spring months, you can see thousands of young school-age kids taking their picture on the steps of the Capitol with their favorite congressman. As we look over the House wing of the Capitol building, we will see some figures up near the top of those columns. Those figures represent peace-protecting genius, the industrial might of the United States, and also the agricultural might of the United States. This pediment was put there by Paul Bartlett in 1916. This is the Capitol as it looked in 1800 and was the largest building in America at the time. This is Dr. William Thornton, who originally designed the Capitol. This is the Capitol as it looked in the 1800s, and this is the Capitol as it looked when they were putting the dome on it in the 1860s. The construction company that was in charge of putting the dome on was told it would not be paid till after the Civil War, and they continued anyway. This is the 9 million pound dome at night, and this is the west side of the Capitol building. This is where the president takes his oath of office. Every president since Ronald Wilson Reagan has taken his oath of office on the west side. As you look at the Capitol, on your left-hand corner would be the Senate, and your right-hand corner would be the House of Representatives. The original size of the Capitol is, you can tell by the two cupolas on the right and on the left. Is a statue of Ulysses S. Grant. This is a cavalry charge which was done by Henry Schrady. It took him over 20 years to complete this. He was a very detailed person. And one of the presidents that was assassinated here in Washington, D.C., James A. Garfield, who was senator-elect from Ohio when he became president. Thank you for your time and patience. KB Tours, 301-248-6360. Thank you.